Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that the most powerful force shaping your mood, hunger, energy, and even your thoughts is not your brain, not your heart, but trillions of tiny invisible living creatures quietly working inside your gut. Most people never hear about them in school, and many doctors only began talking about them in recent years, yet these microscopic partners may influence more parts of your life than almost anything else in your body. For thousands of years, ancient cultures believed the stomach was the center of life and emotion. Old healers in many lands said that a calm stomach created a calm mind and a troubled stomach created a troubled life. At the time, people thought these ideas were just spiritual beliefs or simple folklore, but modern science is now uncovering something shocking. Hidden inside every human gut lives a vast ecosystem of bacteria so numerous that they outnumber human cells, and each person carries a unique microscopic community that behaves almost like a second organ. Scientists now call it the gut microbiome, and the strange truth is that these bacteria are not simply passengers, they are active workers, builders, messengers, and sometimes even quiet decision makers, shaping how the body works every single day. When you eat a simple meal, something fascinating begins. Long before nutrients reach your blood, the bacteria in your gut begin their own feast, breaking down fibers, plants, and foods that your own body cannot fully digest. During this process, they release tiny chemical signals, vitamins, and compounds that travel through your bloodstream to the brain, immune system, and organs, influencing how they behave. Researchers have discovered that certain gut bacteria produce substances that help create serotonin, one of the major chemicals linked to happiness, calmness, and emotional balance, which means part of what people feel as mood may actually begin with microscopic life in the gut. This discovery surprised scientists because it challenged an old assumption that emotions begin only in the brain. Instead, the gut and brain communicate constantly through a complex information highway, often called the gut-brain connection. Messages travel through nerves, hormones, immune signals, and bacterial chemicals in both directions, almost like a continuous conversation happening deep inside the body. Some experiments even showed that changing gut bacteria in animals could influence their behavior, making calm animals more anxious or shy animals more curious. This does not mean bacteria control human personality, but it reveals how deeply connected our internal ecosystem is to how we feel, think, and react. Yet the gut bacteria story becomes even more surprising when we look back through human history. Thousands of years ago, people lived very differently from modern life. They ate seasonal foods, natural plants, and fermented meals like yogurt, pickled vegetables, and cultured drinks. These foods were rich in living microbes and fibers that fed beneficial gut bacteria, but modern diets changed dramatically. Processed foods, refined sugars, and ultra-clean environments slowly reduced the diversity of gut microbes living inside many people. Scientists sometimes call this the disappearing microbiome theory, suggesting that modern lifestyles may have unintentionally weakened the rich bacterial communities humans evolved with for generations. Some researchers compare the gut microbiome to a rainforest filled with countless species, each performing different tasks. Some bacteria help digest plant fibers, turning them into fuel for the body. Some support the immune system, helping it recognize harmful invaders while ignoring harmless particles. Others assist in producing vitamins such as vitamin K and certain B vitamins that support blood and nerve function. When the ecosystem stays balanced, the body tends to run smoothly, but when harmful bacteria grow too, dominant problems may appear, including digestive discomfort, fatigue, inflammation, and other health struggles. This balance is sometimes described as microbial harmony. Though the word harmony might sound poetic, the idea behind it is very scientific. Inside the intestines, different bacterial species compete, cooperate, and adapt just like animals inside a natural environment. Food choices, stress, sleep habits, medicines, and even travel can change this balance within days. One well-known example involves antibiotics, which are powerful medicines that save lives by killing harmful bacteria, but antibiotics can also temporarily reduce helpful bacteria in the gut. This is why many doctors recommend rebuilding gut balance afterward through nutritious foods rich in fiber and fermented ingredients. Another fascinating discovery involves the immune system. Nearly 70% of immune activity is connected to the gut, where immune cells constantly monitor the bacterial population, learning to recognize friendly microbes while staying alert for threats. Scientists believe that early exposure to diverse microbes during childhood may help train the immune system to respond properly later in life. This may explain why children who grow up around nature, farms, pets, and outdoor environments sometimes show lower rates of certain allergies compared with children raised in extremely sterile environments. This does not mean germs are always good or cleanliness is unimportant, but it reveals that the human body evolved alongside a wide variety of microbes and may actually Rely on some of them for proper development. Culture and myth also played an interesting role in how people viewed digestion throughout history. Ancient Greek physicians often said that all disease begins in the gut, a phrase repeated for centuries, sometimes misused and sometimes misunderstood. Modern science does not fully agree with such a dramatic claim, yet research increasingly shows that gut health is deeply connected to many systems across the body, from metabolism to immunity to brain signaling. Another surprising piece of the puzzle involves appetite and hunger signals. Certain gut bacteria appear to influence how the body interprets fullness and cravings. When bacteria digest fiber, they produce short-chain fatty acids, special molecules that interact with intestinal cells and help signal to the brain that the body has received enough food. In contrast, diets extremely low in fiber may reduce these helpful signals, making hunger feel stronger and satisfaction weaker. This might be one reason traditional diets rich in whole plants often leave people feeling full longer, even with fewer calories than heavily processed meals. Psychology also enters the story because stress can directly affect the gut. When someone experiences chronic worry, fear, or emotional strain, the body releases stress hormones that may alter digestion and the environment where gut bacteria live. Some people feel this connection clearly as stomach discomfort during stressful moments such as exams, important meetings, or emotional conflicts. Scientists now know that these sensations are not imaginary. The gut contains a massive network of nerves, sometimes called the enteric nervous system, often nicknamed the second brain because it can operate independently from the central brain while also communicating with it constantly. This nerve network helps coordinate digestion, movement, and microbial balance inside the intestines, making the gut one of the most complex internal environments in the body. Cultural traditions around food unknowingly supported gut bacteria long before microbiology existed. Fermented foods appear across nearly every region of the world, including yogurt, kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, miso, and many other traditional dishes. People created these foods originally to preserve ingredients or improve flavor, yet fermentation also fills them with living microbes that may contribute to microbial diversity inside the digestive system. Modern nutrition science now studies these foods carefully to understand their potential benefits, though researchers still remind people that no single food magically fixes health. The gut microbiome responds best to overall patterns of eating, living, and environment. Diversity seems to be one key theme. The more varied the plant fibers, whole foods, and natural ingredients in the diet, the more types of bacteria can thrive and perform different functions. Another surprising element of gut bacteria research involves how quickly the microbiome can change. Studies have shown that altering diet for even a few days can shift bacterial populations inside the gut, though long-term habits create the strongest patterns. This means the microbiome is both resilient and responsive, like a living garden that adapts to the conditions it receives. Feed it nourishing fibers, plants and fermented foods, and beneficial microbes often grow stronger. Feed it mostly processed low-fiber foods and the ecosystem may shrink in diversity. Yet even with all these discoveries, scientists emphasize that gut microbiome research is still developing. The human body hosts thousands of bacterial species, and each individual carries a unique combination shaped by genetics, environment, childhood exposure, travel, diet, and countless other factors. What works perfectly for one person may not work exactly the same for another, which is why researchers focus more on general patterns rather than strict universal rules. Still, the central lesson emerging from this science is clear: the human body does not live alone, it lives in partnership with trillions of microscopic organisms that quietly assist digestion, immunity, metabolism, and communication with the brain. Perhaps the most fascinating part of this hidden world is how invisible it remains to everyday life. People wake up, eat meals, go to work, exercise, laugh, worry, and sleep, rarely imagining the vast microscopic city thriving inside them. Each bite of food becomes fuel not only for human cells but also for the bacterial communities that help transform that food into usable energy, signals, and nutrients. This partnership has existed throughout human evolution, long before laboratories, microscopes, and genetic sequencing allowed scientists to observe it, and even today researchers continue discovering new bacterial species and new chemical messages created inside the gut. Some scientists believe that future medicine may include personalized nutrition plans designed to support each individual's microbiome, while others explore how gut bacteria might influence conditions ranging from metabolism to mental well-being. Though many questions remain unanswered, the growing knowledge reminds us that health is not only about organs we can see or feel, but also about ecosystems we rarely notice. The hidden gut bacteria secret may simply be this: the human body is less like a machine and more like a living community where trillions of microscopic allies work silently every moment, helping maintain balance, energy, and resilience. And understanding this partnership may change the way people think about food, stress, sleep, and everyday habits, because small Daily choices can shape the invisible world inside the gut, which in turn may influence how the body and mind feel each day. If you found this hidden world inside your body as fascinating as it sounds, share your thoughts below, and do not forget to like, comment and subscribe for more surprising health stories that reveal the secrets living quietly inside us all.